Welcome to the video series on research methods and analysis by Data and Research. In this video, we will discuss various types of quasi-experimental designs. In many situations, there are practical difficulties in applying experimental designs. In such cases, we can use quasi-experimental designs. We will use quasi-experimental designs if we are helpless controlling the internal or external validity threats associated with a research, or if we cannot effectively or entirely manipulate the independent variable, or if there is no option to assign the participants randomly. There are various types of quasi-experimental designs. We will look into some of them. What happens if one of your close relatives caught fever unexpectedly? What will you do? You will tell him to take a rest for some time. Then you may observe if the fever increases or decreases through a series of observation from time to time, like observation 1, observation 2, observation 3, observation 4, observation 5, and you understood that the fever is increasing. So you gave him medicine and then you continued if the fever is getting relieved through observation 6, observation 7, observation 8, observation 9, and observation 10. After this, you may compare your first observation and your last observation. If you are trying to find a cause and effect relationship like this in research, you are practicing a quasi-experimental design called time series design. This method is called equivalent time series design. There is another type of time series design, interrupted time series design. In this, after each observation, the treatment or intervention will be provided. Here, O represents observation or tests, like pre-test, post-test, or follow-up tests. X represents treatment or intervention. Another type of quasi-experimental design is equivalent time sampling design. In this, we will provide the treatment first. Then there will be a period of observation. Again, there is a treatment condition. This treatment may be different from the first treatment, or it may be a control condition. Then there is a period of observation. After that, again, there is a treatment condition. This treatment will be a repeat of the first one. After that, there will be a period of observation. Then again, there is another treatment condition. This may be a repeat of the second condition. Now imagine that you are going to try a between group intervention among high school students. You approached one of your nearby schools. They allowed you the students from 10th standard A and B divisions to be your sample. Here you do not have the freedom to assign the participants randomly. You are not allowed to shuffle the class. Without a random or matched assignment of the participants, you decided to go ahead with your intervention validation. You thought you would give intervention to one group. The other group you would consider as a control group. Finally, you decided 10A as the experimental group and 10B as the control group. You conducted a pretest for 10A and 10B. And then you gave intervention for 10A only. After that, you ran a post-test for both 10A and 10B. Then you compared the pre-test and the post-test scores of both the experimental group and control group and reported whether the intervention was effective or not. This design exactly looks like an experimental design, but it is not. because you were not able to assign the participants randomly or matched. Another type of quasi-experimental design is counterbalanced design. In this, we may have more than one group. Again, participants to these groups will not be randomly assigned or matched in this type of design. Here, all the groups will undergo all kinds of treatment. For instance, group 1 will get treatment A first and then treatment B. To assess if there is a treatment effect, group 2 will first get treatment B and then treatment A. Sometimes, if there are more different types of treatment, we need more groups for counterbalancing design. Sometimes, we may be in a confusion. We may not be able to find out the best design for our research. During such occasions, we may go for a patched up design. We may start with an inadequate design. Then we will add new features to it. Usually, patched up designs are pre-experimental designs. Another type of quasi-experimental design is longitudinal design. In a longitudinal design, we will study the changes in one or more variables for a while, maybe for a particular year to a specific year. The experimenter will observe the changes in an individual or a group. Another type of quasi-experimental design is a cross-sectional design. In this, we will be taking a cross-section of the population as our sample. Another type of quasi-experimental design is cohort design. This is a mix of cross-sectional and longitudinal design. We will take a cross-section of the population as our sample, and then we will observe them over a period of time. Again, another type of quasi-experimental design is ex post facto designs. Ex post facto designs are used if we could not manipulate the independent variables because the things have already happened. Hence, ex post facto design are to research after the fact. For instance, in a study which we use gender, personality, and intelligence as a variable, we can see that gender has already been happened. Personality is already there for each participant. Likewise, intelligence is already there for everybody. We are measuring these already existing factors and researching the association between them. Ex post facto designs may be criterion groups design or correlational designs. If we are to find a correlation between intelligence and personality, we are using a correlational design. If we study the difference between men and women in intelligence and personality, we are using two criterion group designs. We use three criterion groups design if we examine the difference between men, women, and non-binary in personality and intelligence. And that is something about quasi-experimental designs. Hope you enjoyed learning about quasi-experimental designs. If you have any questions, suggestions, or recommendations, please write to dnr365@gmail.com.